So, like with everything, I'm following the coronavirus. I follow climate change. I do graphs of everything. I go back to the source data. For climate change, I go back to the NASA data and the Bureau of Meteorology data and stuff like that. And I do the graphs myself and see what's going on. I don't think many people do that. I think that people just believe what they're told. But I go and find the truth from the actual data, and the truth is quite different to what we're being told in the media. But anyway, on to coronavirus. And these are just the straight graphs. So they're just a linear up, pretty well linear going up at the moment. Bit of an exponential recovery there, but it's only just getting started really. So at this stage, I would say with coronavirus, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. These graphs aren't exponential. They're just linear rises, which is quite good really, considering it's spreading all around the world. So it is being contained, I think, at this stage. The graphs, according to this, and this is all Johns Hopkins University data that I'm graphing. I've got the deaths and confirmed and recovered in here. I've got all the data straight from Johns Hopkins University. I'll put a link in the description. And so everything's looking not too bad at this stage. I would say there's no need for panic. There's no need for panic buying. There's no need for people to be stockpiling massive amounts of toilet paper and being idiots. But that's just the way the data's looking at the moment. And I graph everything. Yeah, anything that's of concern to anybody, climate change, anything like that, I've got data and graphs on it. I'm doing everything. I've got a million projects on the go at once, and many of them aren't even programming related. They're just data related or other sorts of things. So that's my data. So as well as doing that spreadsheet, which is a bit awkward really, you've got to copy new data and paste it into it and all that sort of stuff. It's a little bit awkward to maintain. I've developed this little tool. I started on it last night, about 9:30, 10 o'clock or something, and I worked for a couple of hours on it last night and then another hour this morning or so. Not very much, a couple of hours work. And you can start and stop the animations, and it will go through the days of data in the Johns Hopkins file and plot where the big cases are. Okay, so if I click the start button, you'll see it's wanging through the dates there. It does about 10 a second. And you'll see it's most of the data's in China, and there's other data in Korea and Italy and different places. If you actually zoom in on this map and look at it, there's little tiny red dots everywhere. But the big one's still in China, with a couple of smaller sort of explosions in different places. I won't call them explosions, outbreaks. And this size of these circles, I've just set it to a maximum size of 100 pixels. So all of this other data is scaled to 100 pixels. So China's got like 80,000 cases or something at the moment. So this is 80,000 cases. So this one down here is, if it's 1/10 of the size, that would only be 8,000 cases or something like that. So I've just scaled it by maximum size of 100. So I go through all the data and work out what the maximum country is, and then I scale all the data according to that. So, and Australia's got it all, and there's outbreaks in New Zealand, and all around the place there's outbreaks, but it's all being contained. And this circle isn't to raise alarm, it's just so that I could have a size of circle where I could see the other ones. Because until I made it, when I had a 10 originally, so it was only a small circle, and nothing else was showing up, it wasn't even a pixel in size. Okay, so I've just made it so the other stuff shows up. I'm making it 100. So I'm not trying to create an alarm or anything like that, but it's just interesting to see the data. So you can see it's, and that takes us up to the 7th of February, or 7th of March, which is yesterday. I haven't got data for today yet. It's still too early, but you can see that it's sort of. So 23rd of February, if I click start again. The circle barely changed between 23rd of February and now, which is indicating that's being contained. Okay, because it barely changed. So anyway, that's my little animation for coronavirus. I'll be tweaking this and improving this on the coming days. But it's a good little project to do. So if you're looking for a little project to do, grab the Johns Hopkins data, get a map of the world. I'll probably put a link in the description for this map that I got. And take it from there. It's a great little project to do if you're learning programming, or you're a good programmer, or you just want a fun little thing to do on a rainy day. So here's my source code here, and I've got just one data file. I'm just doing the confirmed cases at the moment, and that's up to date as of this morning. And I've got some maps there, and I did some test calcs looking at the latitude and longitude and the position on the maps. and I think I'm using that map there. So I'll put a link to that on my website anyway, and to the map, and I'll also put a link to the data, and there's my source code files, and the bulk of the code's in this one. I've also got my common code that I use, that I pull code out as I'm going and add it into that. So there's lots of common code use as well, but it's mostly in that. So will I make this code available on GitHub? Well, I'll certainly on GitHub. It's on GitHub already. Will I make it available on a public GitHub? And I probably will. I probably want to polish it a bit more first, and then I will make it available. The problem with making my code available on GitHub, and this is something that I've struggled with for years. I've only really got into GitHub in a big way in the last 12 months or so, a bit over 18 months. The problem with putting my code on GitHub and making it public is that all the little fun projects I do, and I try and use them to get students interested in programming, exploring rocket ships, going to Alpha Centauri, and spread of heat through a thermal plate, and electricity flow around circuits, and just fun stuff to see how does that work and what does it do, and write a little simulation for it. It doesn't have to be a graphical simulation, just anything, just explore problems. I'm trying to get my students to do that all the time. Okay, I've been a university lecturer and tutor and marker for the last 20 years, as well as working in industry as a programmer throughout that time. So I've got 4 decades of programming experience. But I struggle with my students. So many, or some, at least a few in the class just will not do anything outside of class. It's impossible to get them to work in class, some of them. And if you make the source code available, they just go straight to the source code. They'll take the easy route, straight to the source code, look at the answer, and they'll say, oh, I could do that. That's easy, I could do that. Oh, yeah, I understand. Yeah. And of course, all of these things only by doing and trying and making mistakes. That's how you learn. That's how you understand. So it's only by exploring stuff yourself that you understand. So making the source code available, yeah, look, I will eventually. But I just hate to see my students going straight to the solutions. It just drives me up the wall. But anyway, just a fun little project. It's fun. It's fun to see the data and explore these things. And like I say, I'm exploring everything. Any data I can get anywhere, I scrounge for it. Any ideas I can get anywhere, I scrounge for ideas, for little stuff to do. I don't have much of a life. I just love writing code. So my life is basically spent in front of my computer writing code. I get out on my quad bike for a couple of hours every afternoon, but I don't have a social life really. It's just programming. So I love it so much. I don't have anything else really. Pretty sad, but anyway, that's my life. Anyway, hope the video was useful. Thanks for watching. Keep exploring, keep programming, keep learning, and have fun doing it.